Life is a hollow. This is a perfect that most of us individuals can conjure upon a limited degree. Thus, ending the life of another has dependably been considered the most despicable of wrongdoings. One deserving of the harshest accessible discipline. Along these lines, emerges one of the extraordinary good issues within recent memory. Should ending the life of one who has ended the life of another be viewed as an accessible discipline? Is a killer's life any less hallowed than the unfortunate casualty is? Could the death penalty, capital punishment, execution, lawful homicide, or whatever a general public wishes to call it be ethically legitimate? The hidden inquiry in this issue is if any sort of murdering, paying little respect to reason, can be acknowledged adversaries of capital punishment have an unmistakable favorable position when contending the point over supporters. Their favorable position is the way that ending the life of another is corrupt. And on the off chance that you evacuate every exceptional situation, the death penalty is simply sanctioned homicide. This contention alone is insufficient. However, in view of the numerous conditions encompassing the death penalty, for example, the way that the convict being executed has more likely than taken another person's life. The main defense for the case that death penalty is shameless is the possibility that it makes an atmosphere of savagery. On the off chance that a general public rebuffs a killer by killing them, our general public shows its youngsters that brutality does not comprehend anything, but then our most elevated type of discipline is the same than the wrongdoing it rebuffs. The death penalty additionally facilitates the desensitizing of our general public. In the days where broad communication was not accessible, it was uncommon to see a body, not to mention somebody really passing on. But today, our general public is stuck with a torrent of savage pictures, regardless of whether anecdotal or not. Individuals never again reconsider when they see a character passing on in a motion picture or a projectile perplexed high schooler bounce out of a second-story window. The idea of human life has totally lost its importance. The death penalty adds to this issue. A convict isn't thought of as an individual. All humankind related with them is expelled. This legitimization is required so as to have a general public where the death penalty is lawful. In the event that the general public expels humankind from convicts, characters in motion pictures or individuals on the second 6 o'clock news, it will start to expel mankind from individuals' experience in consistently life. With time, savagery may turn out to be such a kind of atypical that even apparently normal individuals who see no issue killing a store representative starting to shoot at somebody that cut them off on the thruway or killing a defiant youngster. Capital punishment disregards the sacred right of a person. It is all the more a savage and remorseless discipline against a living person, and can be named one of the most noticeably terrible demonstration of human instinct. It challenges all religious shows, as it not the privilege of the state to play God and choose who should live and who ought to be executed. A capital punishment would have been legitimate in the event that it had the capacity to avert future wrongdoings. Reprisal is another word for retribution, in spite of the fact that our first intuition might be to inflict immediate torment or on somebody who wrongs us. The norms of a developed society demands a progressively estimated reaction, and the enthusiastic drive for vengeance isn't a sufficient vocation for conjuring an arrangement of the death penalty. Our laws and criminal equity framework should lead us to a higher rule that exhibit a complete regard forever. Even the life of a killer, you should know, and empowering our basest motives of retribution, which finishes in another slaughtering, expand the chain of savagery. Some would contend that capital punishment will show society everywhere the reality of wrongdoing. However, we state that encouraging individuals to react to savagery with viciousness will once more just breed more savagery. And regard for our human life and restriction to the viciousness in our general public are at the foundation of our long-standing resistance to capital punishment. We see capital punishment as propagating a cycle of brutality and advancing a feeling of retribution in our way of life. As I said in confronting the culture of violence, we can train that executing isn't right by murdering. We contradict the death penalty not only for what it does to those liable of awful violation, however, for what it does to us all as a general public. Expanding dependence on capital punishment lessons we all what's more is an indication as well of developing a reverence for human life. We can't basically conquer wrongdoing by basically executing hoodlums, nor would we be able to re-establish the lives of blameless by completion the lives of those indicated for their homicides. Capital punishment offers the shocking impeachment that we can guard life by taking life. The method of reasoning behind capital punishment does not ever fit a wrongdoing regardless of whether an individual isn't fit for being restored. Nobody ought to reserve the privilege to sentence another person to death. Under the present arrangement of equity, the state can set a discipline, an activity that has been considered to be most exceedingly awful kind of wrongdoing that an individual can submit. This is by all accounts totally unreasonable and opposing. In what manner can anybody legitimize doing an activity that is consistently settled after being off base? The appropriate response is nobody. Accordingly, capital punishment does not ethically appear to be allowable. And there is a reason that behind why most nations have abolished capital punishment. It is on the grounds that aside from being violent, it will not work. In the Philippines, it didn't work and won't work particularly nowadays. So therefore, we should and we must all say no to death penalty. I am Enzo Samano and thank you for listening.